Good evening. The City Council Local Redevelopment Authority Board meetings for the City of Riverbank is now in session. Today is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. It is 6 p.m. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Let's pray. Father, Lord, we just come before you, and we're so grateful and thankful for all that you have provided for us as we reflect and remember. I just pray that tonight, Lord, as we gather in this council meeting, that, Lord, your presence would be here, that, Lord, you would bestow upon us the wisdom that's necessary as we talk numbers and get our budget squared away. And Lord, the presentations tonight, I pray, Father, that each one would feel welcome, that they would feel honored. And Lord, as we continue to do business together as a city, that, Lord, though there may be differences, Lord, in moving forward, we'll all do our part to make the Riverbank a great place to live. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Here.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Here.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Here.
Mayor O'Brien?
Here. Any council authority member or staff who has a direct conflict of interest on any scheduled agenda item to be considered is to declare the conflict at this time. I have a conflict with item 10.5.
I have a conflict with 10.5.
And I have a conflict with 10.5.
We'll resolve that when 10.5 comes up. Okay, at this point, we'll go to presentations. The first one is 7-1, Proclamation Disability Awareness Month for June 2024. And if I may have Catherine Mendoza, come on up. Riverbank Proclamation, Disability Awareness Month. Whereas the City Council of the City of Riverbank has recognized healthy communities as a priority, and whereas within the year next year, at least one out of 8 Californians will experience disability of through family members. And whereas disability can affect all people, regardless of race, age, gender, and circumstance, and the essence of life is not involved by physical or mental person, but is the principal part. And whereas increasing public awareness of disability is vital to fighting stigma and discrimination that often serves as barriers to employment, socialization, and industry. And whereas communities thrive when government appreciates misfit and fly people out of it. Whereas education, understanding, access, and relationships are important components to the connected, livable, and life. And whereas the society will commemorate June 2024, meet human life. Now therefore, let it be proclaimed by the City Council of the City of June 2024. All
truly everything that we do to help the people who are disabled radiates out from them and helps other people as well. And when we have a community that understands what disabilities bring to a person, the trouble, the challenges, it helps that person to succeed more, because through all of us working together, we can make life better for people with disabilities. So thanks again for the recognition. Thank you for wearing purple. And thank you for being dedicated to the city of Riverbank.
Thank you. Now, photo op. Yeah, you have to stand by. And I'd like the city council, you to stand behind. Please, stand behind. I will.
That's a great picture.
Item 7.2, Proclamation Pride Month for June 2024. While we have no one receiving it, we do recognize and we appreciate all those individual of diversities. And today we're going to, as a City of Riverbank, Proclamation Pride Month, June 2024. Whereas this nation was founded upon and is guided by a set of principles, including that every person has been created equal, that all have rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that all shall be afforded a full recognition and protection of the law. And whereas the city of Riverbank has been and continues to be a place that values all people while recognizing and appreciating the importance of equality and freedom. And whereas the city of Riverbank is strengthened by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, racial, sexual orientation, gender identities of its residents, all of which contribute to the vibrant character of the city. And whereas it is imperative to acknowledge the need for education and awareness to the end all types of discrimination. And whereas the residents who are part of the LGBTQ plus community contribute to the enhancement of our community. And whereas June has become a symbolic month in which the LGBTQ plus community and supporters come together in various celebration of pride. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Riverbank does hereby proclaim June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Riverbank and encourage all residents to recognize the contributions made by the members of the LGBTQ plus community and to actively promote the principles of equality and liberty. Signed today. We'll continue on with public comment. At this time, members of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council LRA Board. Individual comments will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and time cannot be yielded to another person. Under state law, matters presented during the public comment period cannot be discussed or acted upon. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, Olivia?
Hi, Mayor O'Brien, Vice Mayor, Council members. I'm Olivia Rambula, owner of Timeless Real Estate here in Riverbank. But tonight I'm here as a member of your Riverbank Chamber of Commerce. And with me is
Lori Thale, hooked on bling for nails. Nice to be here.
And so we're here just to kind of go over our events, a little reminder that we have this upcoming Riverbank Chamber of Commerce Business Expo event that is occurring this Thursday from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Riverbank Community Center. So just want to put another invite out to everybody. We're hoping that you all will attend. We have a packed house. It is completely full. to the point to where we have canopies going outside as well. So we have around 30 people that have businesses here, and most of them Riverbank. We try to aim just for Riverbank, but you know, everybody's inclusive because sometimes people live here and they work somewhere else. So we have everybody who's going to attend that day. So it's pretty packed and we're very happy about that. And so please attend, everyone.
We're excited about it. A lot of contacts. It's just, we're excited. So,
Anything else?
Huh?
Anything else?
not
Anyone?
acquainted that when you get to the grass.
Hmm?
When you get to the grass thing I want to talk
Oh, that's good. Okay. So anyways, but that's pretty much what we have. We do have some other events coming up. So we will bring those forward to you guys. We're just trying to make sure we have at least, you know, 1-2 things going on each month. And you're always invited to our meetings, which occur alongside yours as well. Every other Tuesday, second and fourth Tuesday of the month, unless there's a change because of a holiday. And you can find those dates on our website. They occur at this point in time between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. at the Riverbank Industrial Complex here in Riverbank. So join us, come visit us, see what we're doing, help us out. You guys' input is crucial to the longevity and survival of our community. So we just appreciate you guys all being here and supporting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
Kimberly?
Hear me okay? Um, I do, $5 jewelry, paparazzi for $5. What I have for concern is my daughter and my grandson live on Morel, and I see a lot of buses on Roselle and Morel trying to get that turn, and I see a lot of the buses with kids in it backing up. And it's coming to a concern that we need to do something with that area. And also putting speed bumps in Morel because the cars are just speeding by, and my grandson and his friends like to go back and forth across the street because he lives on one side and his friends live on the other, and I'm afraid they're gonna get hit one day. They just speed by. They don't even care that there's kids playing or anything. And then my other concern is on Patterson. I see so many people trying to cross that street and getting hit because they're not stopping at the crosswalk for the people. They just want to keep on going. So I thought maybe we can light up the lights and, you know, make it where they have to stop or something. And then my other concern is my neighborhood. I live on Chancellor and Morel on the corner. There's this house that has grass, dry grass so high that I thought maybe you guys can just take drones and just go around people and for the 4th of July so that nothing burns or causes a fire. And those were my only concerns. So I hope we put speed bumps somewhere and maybe try to do something to stop Patterson Road too, where Snow White is and that area right there where they're trying to cross the streets because nobody is stopping for those people. And that's-
I'm confused. Patterson and where, or is that Atchison?
That is Patterson, on Patterson Road where Snow White is and where the people are trying to cross back and forth to get to Snow White or to Barber Shop.
Okay.
They're not stopping
Atchison.
in that area.
All right, yeah, that's Atchison, but yes, okay, duly noted, and we'll look into that.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Conrado?
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor O'Brien and City Council members, Mr. Uribe, Ms. Hernandez, Ms. Leanne Cruz, and Mrs. Barbara Martinez. I'm here to let you know that I continue to oppose the proposed Riverwalk project. I'm sure the City Council is aware that you received the response letters to the Riverwalk Draft Environmental Impact Report. There were over 100 comment letters submitted. There were substantial comments and concerns raised by private individuals as well as many public agencies. If the council has not yet seen these letters, it would be well worth your time to review them to become well informed about the many significant shortfalls in this draft EIR. They have already been posted on the city's website, which may give you easier, more convenient access to them. Thank you again for seriously considering the effects this proposal will have on your residents as well as all of the other many surrounding residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We have a few on Zoom, Mayor. Ms. Agers, can you unmute?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Jamie Yeager, 7730 McHenry Avenue, Modesto, outside the city of Riverbank, but within the proposed Riverwalk project area. I have just a few comments I'd like to make this evening. First, if you're not already aware, we resubmitted our ballot initiative paperwork last week. So we'll be restarting that as soon as we receive our ballot title and summary from the city attorney. And as I mentioned many times previously, we will be coming back bigger and stronger on that effort this time. Secondly, if you aren't aware, we've started a sign campaign. We have yard signs and we have large 4x8 signs out on some main streets that access Riverbank. And lastly, I wanted to share with you one of the many inaccuracies in the draft EIR for Riverwalk was that multiple times throughout the document, it referred to the property that they want to develop as Riverwalk as fallow land over and over through many, many portions of many chapters in the document. And the land clearly is not fallow. And I just wanted to point out to you that just in the last few days, they again re-prepared the ground for planting. So it clearly is not fallow. So again, one of the many inaccuracies in the EIR. Thank you.
That is all, Mayor.
That's it? No other public comment? Thank you. We're going to move forward to the consent calendar consisting of item 9.1, waive readings. Item 9.2, approval of the City Council and Local Redevelopment Authority Board minutes for May 26th, 28th, 2024. Item 9.3, a resolution to award bid for the Calendar Avenue Improvement Project to United Pavements Maintenance, Inc., and authorize execution of future change orders. Do I have anyone wishing to pull or consideration?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent calendar as stated.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve and second the consent calendar. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10.1, two resolutions for Consolidated Landscaping and Lighting District to, one, amend or approve the engineer's report and levy the collection of annual assessments related thereto for fiscal year 2024-2025. And two, ordering the levy and collection of annual assessments for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Mayor and Council, unfortunately, Kathleen Cleek could not join us at today's meeting, so I will be presenting on her behalf. At the last City Council meeting, the City Council authorized the initiation of the proceedings for all of our landscape and lighting districts and storm drain districts for the annual assessments. This is the second phase where we are holding a public hearing on the assessments themselves. We will then forward this information to the county property tax collection, and then they will add those to the property tax bills. I'm going to go through a PowerPoint presentation for items 10.1 through 10.4. Once the three council members or two council members and the mayor recuse themselves for item 10.5, then I will go over the information for that. So to begin, landscape and lighting districts are an annual assessment which covers the cost of the landscape maintenance, street lighting, and capital improvements within each of the districts. Annually, Kathleen, her staff, as well as Tammy, go through the annual maintenance costs, and the assessments are reviewed to see if it warrants an increase in the assessment in order to cover the costs that we are incurring. So the Consolidated District is a conglomeration of various sites throughout the city. It includes the 6 different sites, including Sterling Ridge, Eastwood Estates, Elmwood Estates, Chianti, South Bend, and Courtney Estates. As you'll note, with the exception of two, the others are experiencing an increase due to the increased landscape contract with Grover Landscape Company. Ridgewood Place is also experiencing an increase in fee, so it's an additional $55.55 for this particular district. River Cove is not experiencing any increase as it's maxed out on the rate increases that we're able to perform. At some point in time, should we see that costs continue to escalate, we may have to request additional funding from the general fund or revisiting the assessments with the individual property owners to see if it warrants an increase. And Sierra Vista Estates is also experiencing an increase in cost of an additional $13.49 for this upcoming fiscal year for a total assessment of $80.95. And so our recommendation is for each of the items 10.1 through 10.4. This is an engineer's report that we are requesting be approved, and then ordering the levy of the assessment for each of these landscape districts. So as it is a public hearing, you will need to open and close public hearings for each item. And that is all. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Before public hearing, are there any questions from the council? Being none, for item 10.1, the two resolutions of Consolidated Landscaping and Lighting District amend and or approve the engineer's report and levy collections annual assessment and ordering the levy and collection of annual assessment for fiscal year 2024-25. This public hearing is open. Do you have any public comment? Testimony? Seeing none, I close. Bring it back to the council for consideration.
I'll make a motion to approve item 10.1, both resolutions.
I second.
We have a motion to approve 10.1, both resolutions, and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10.1, two resolutions for Ridgewood Place Landscaping and Lighting District. 2.1, amend or approve the engineer's report and levy and collection of annual assessments related thereto for the fiscal year 2024-25. And 2, ordering the levy and collection of annual assessments for fiscal year 2024-25. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public? Is there anyone on Zoom?
Mayor, there is no one on Zoom.
Close the public hearing. Bring it back for consideration.
I make a motion, we approve item 10.2.
I second the motion.
We have a motion to approve 10.2, both resolutions, and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10.3, two resolutions for River Cove Landscaping and Lighting District. Number 1, to amend and approve the engineer's report and levy and collection of annual assessments. And 2, ordering the levy and collection of annual assessments for fiscal year 2024-25. This is a public hearing. I open the public comment. Seeing no public comment, I close the public hearing. I bring it back for consideration.
I'll make a motion to approve item 10.3, both resolutions.
I second.
We have a motion to approve item 10.3, both resolutions, and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10.4, two resolutions for Sierra Vista Estate Landscaping and Lighting District. 1, amend and approve the engineer report and levy and collection of annual assessments related thereto and ordering the levy and collection of annual assessments for fiscal year 2024-25. This is a public hearing. I open the public hearing for comments. Seeing no public comments, I close the public hearing and bring it back for consideration.
I'll make a motion that we accept the item as stated.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve item 10.4, both resolutions, and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz.
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
at this time, we'll take a quick poll to see who's going to stick around. Ooh, my hands are too big.
Who stays or who goes?
All right,
I'm ready.
you are.
I'm hard to walk.
Better turn it on. This is for item 10.5, two resolutions for Crossroads Landscaping and Lighting District. This is a public hearing. Council, do you have any comments? There we
I'm
go.
just gonna go through the PowerPoint really quick for
Us
members of
already.
the public. So Crossroads District is a little bit different from the other districts in that because of the size and the different amenities within each one, we've got different zones set up. So there's an overall district benefit that each one of the property owners pays, and then based on what zone they're in within Crossroads, they each have individual assessments that are then levied on them. So each of the zones, including the district benefit, is experiencing an increase in the fee. And so this is the fee that's being proposed. And so we are recommending the approval of the engineer's report and ordering the levy and collection of the annual assessments for the Crossroads Landscape and Lighting District. I'm available for questions.
Council, do you have any questions or comments? All right, this is a public hearing. I'm going to open the hearing. Are there any comments from the public?
There's
I'm
no
gonna-
one.
Is there anything on Zoom?
No, there is no one wishing to speak.
I'm going to close this item. I'm looking for a motion, recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve item 10.5.
And I'll second it.
Councilmember Uribe,
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Item 10.6, resolution of the City Council of the City of Riverbank, County of Stanislaus State, ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the Riverbank Storm Drain Benefits Assessment District number 2006-02, Heartlands for the fiscal year 2024-25.
The presentation I have for you now is going to briefly go over both of the storm drain districts within the city of Riverbank, which encompass item 10.6 and 10.7. So storm drain districts, similar to our landscape and lighting districts, have an annual assessment, which will cover the maintenance specifically for the operations of the storm drain facilities within the two districts. So we have the Heartland Storm Drain District, which is located just right behind Target. They will have an annual assessment of $51.83 for the upcoming fiscal year, which is an increase of $10.37 over the previous year. And this is just the area that is highlighted in red that is serviced by that district. The second is the Sterling Ridge Storm Drain District, which is located in the Sterling Ridge area off of Roselle. This pond is actually located on Pocket Avenue. Their assessment for the upcoming fiscal year is $98, which is an increase of $25.41. And this is the area that's serviced by that storm drain pond. And so the recommendation is the approval of the engineer's report and then declaring the levy and collection of the annual assessments for each one of the two storm drain districts. I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Any questions before I open it up for public hearing? Seeing none. Item 10.6, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riverbank to levy and collection assessments within the City of Riverbank Storm Drain Benefit Assessment District 2006-01 for fiscal year 24-25. This is a public hearing. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom wishing to speak.
Okay, we have no public comment. I close the public hearing, bring it back for consideration.
I'll make a motion to approve item 10.6.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to approve item 10.6 and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 10.7, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riverbank ordering the levy and collection of assessment within the Sterling Ridge Benefit Assessment District for fiscal year 24-25. This is a public hearing. See no public comments. I close public hearing. I bring it back for consideration.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to approve 10.7 and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 11.1.
Wait, before we move on, can I ask a question about Crossroads West? Can we clarify for the public why it's not included in the assessment that we've been
Crossroads
discussing?
West, yes, Crossroads West follows a different path in that it is a Community Facilities District or CFD rather than a Landscape and Lighting District. The regulations for both are different. One requires that we go through a public hearing process, which is the Landscape and Lighting Districts. The CFDs only require budgetary approval and have already built in automatic escalators and don't require us to go through this process. So when Tammy presents the final annual budget for consideration at the June 25th meeting, you'll see a fund called CFD 2016, which encompasses all of the new areas. And so it's not only Crossroads West, but all new development that has come into the city since the year 2016.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that for the public. Thank you.
All right, item 11.1, fiscal year 2024-25 major fund budget workshop.
And Tammy L. Cantor, your Assistant City Manager, will oversee this item.
You have a clicker, Norma? Mhm. Thank you. Oh, now I have a backup. Yeah, there you go. Well, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Thank you for having your attention for me tonight to present our major fund budget workshop. There we go. So this workshop tonight or presentation is going to cover our major funds. Our major funds receive the majority of city revenues, typically discretionary based on the type of revenue received, and provide resources for the city's operations. The funds that are included in this would be our general fund, gas tax, sewer fund, water fund, and our public benefit. We're going to cover our general fund first. So the general fund is the city's primary discretionary fund, revenues collected at the discretion of the city council. And, revenues allocated at the discretion of the city council, sales tax, property tax, general revenues not specifically allocated to other city purpose via council resolution or a state law. Our expenditures in the general fund encompass a variety of core municipal services, our parks and recreation, planning, building, administration, legal, development services, and our stormwater administration. The general fund status for our 24-25 fiscal year, we are estimating that our beginning reserve balance will be $7 million. We're projecting 13.2 million in revenues, or almost 14 million in ongoing expenditures, approximately 100,000 in the one-time projects, for a total reserve at June 30th of 2025 of 6.1 million. We have designated $1 million for the Section 115 trust. So that leaves an unassigned reserve of 5.1 million. We have required a 15% reserve, which would be the 2.1, leaving us a surplus reserve requirement of 3 million. The proposed budget does show a deficit of 850,000. And I will note that on our surplus reserve, we still have our outstanding litigation that we haven't got final back. So just keep that in mind for that. It's not taken into consideration in there. So our general fund revenue, I have presented it 2 different ways because this year I've made a change in how we allocate our staff. We have several staff that cross departments and are paid through different funds. So this initial presentation is to give you a clearer picture, or this is all of our revenue with our transfers in. So projected revenues are at 14.4 for 23-24 fiscal year, and our proposed revenues for 24-25 are at 13.2. So that is a large decrease of 1.1 million, change of 8%. So that is largely due because the way that we have currently been doing our personnel is that we have funded most of them out of the general fund, and then we make transfers in. So those transfers in would show in the revenues of the general fund. Now the expenditures will be spread out between the funds, and I'll give you, there's another slide coming up that'll show this better. So if we took out the transfers in, you can see 23-24 has projected revenues of 11.8 million. And our proposed for 24-25 is 12.1 million. So there's actually an increase of 358,000 or 3%. So as I discussed about the employee allocation, this is an example of currently we have a finance account clerk whose wages are split between general fund, water, and sewer. The entire personnel cost expended through general fund, and then the water and sewer funds would transfer money into the general fund to cover those expenditures. What is being proposed going forward is that we would actually split that between the 3 funds. So general fund expense would show a third, water would show a third, and sewer would show a third. Is there any questions? Because this does fall, this does affect multiple funds. Because there are a lot of employees that cross over. So I won't be mentioning that again. So
Tammy, just for clarification, this used to be practiced years ago, correct? This was the way that you guys used to do it, right? And just reverting back to that.
And then it's another step that has to be done where we have to make those transfers and make sure that all of that is taken care of. So our software does have the capability to handle splitting out the employees' salaries and benefits so that we don't have to take the extra step manually and make those adjustments. So here is a graph of our historical general fund revenues, just showing you how they have increased and fluctuated. And again, you know, it does look like our general fund revenues are falling short, being projected to fall short, but that is due to those transfer ins differences. So our major revenue sources in our general fund are our sales tax, property tax, our property tax in lieu of VLF, and our transfer ins. And here you can see where the change in transfer ins is a large change, where it's almost a 60% decrease. And again, that goes back to the change in the how we are splitting out personnel cost. Sales tax does have a change, almost 7% change. Property taxes stayed at the 2% change, which is what has been given to counties to be able to do. It's very conservative, especially since we do have some growth. And our property tax in Luffy has just a small increase of 2.3%. But of this, these major revenue sources do make up 76.5% of our general fund. So the State Board of Equalization authorized the CPI increase of 2% to all the counties this year. So that is what was considered in our property tax projection. We do have new housing development still underway in East Riverbank, the grasslands at Countryside and Diamond Bar East. West Riverbank, we have the River Terrace, the Heritage, Elmwood Estates, Crossroads West Unit 1 and Unit 1A. Other associated revenues with those developments would be building permits, and then we discussed the VLF. Staff did take a pretty conservative approach on building permits, just because, you know, there's always been this talk about, you know, a recession or slowing down. And so I just kept it very conservative so that we are not over projecting ourselves. So our sales tax actually has this year, in this current fiscal year, we're seeing a slight decrease. But with the new major retail, we are anticipating 11% growth in the upcoming year. And we use our sales tax consultant to assist us in evaluating that. They have all the data on retailers and can help us project what some of those increases can be expected in the sales tax. And I have listed our top 25 sales tax tax remitters, and they make up 74.5% of the total sales tax that we receive. So here's our sales tax over the past few years. And you can see between 22-23 and 23-24's estimate, we're just slightly lower there. And I will say that based on our consultants, this is being experienced across the state, a small drop in the sales tax. But we have proposed an increase of the 11%, again, based on some of our retail that's coming in. So our general fund expense overview, we have projected 23-24 expenses at 16.1 million, and 24-25 are being proposed at 14 million. That's a $2 million difference, 13% change. Some of that is due to changing how we allocate staff. You know, like I said, we were allocating it all into general fund and getting those transfers. So we're reducing the expenditures along with reducing the revenues. So here's our general fund that shows our operating expenses, our salaries and benefits, our law enforcement contract, the fund subsidies, and then our capital outlay. Staffing costs for 23-24 are projected at 4.9 million. For 24-25, we're looking at 4 million. It does include the negotiated cost of living adjustments for both the LIUNA group and mid-management. Our increases that are projected for cost benefits for health and workers' comp. It also includes 1 new personnel for a facility maintenance worker. And then, of course, it incorporates the changes to salaries to be allocated to the appropriate funds. And one item that I didn't put up there is that the council has approved a change in the council's pay after the next election, and that has been taken into consideration in the staffing cost as well. So our law enforcement contract, we're looking at an 8.3% increase. And I apologize, I see I missed changing a year. It says 23-24 twice instead of 24-25 under the 6.1 million, or over the 6.1 million. So there is a salary and benefit increase of 1.1%. And then the largest increase is in our dispatch costs, which was the 10.5%. And it includes the funding for the offsets by the public benefit. Capital outlay for general fund. We have some one-time capital projects, a new Kubota tractor, compact tractor for parks at 41,000, some gym equipment for the law enforcement, 7,000, some IT switches for upgrades at almost 8,000, and then a larger one of upgrading the citywide to Microsoft Office 365 with almost 38,000. That is hindering some of the functions within some of the programs that we run. It needs to be upgraded to the Office 365. And then one item to note is that we did explore the cost of the enhanced lighting for downtown. And it was estimated at the $132,300. It has not been included in the budget, but staff wanted to let the council know that, if there's any feedback on this, then, we're open to having those discussions.
And we appreciate you guys bringing the information forward. It's nice to see that the cost has slightly decreased from the previous quote that we've been receiving. So thank you for that.
So in the future, we need to continue to monitor the effects of the unfunded state mandates, solid waste SB 1383, our stormwater MS4 requirements, and then continued gas tax fund subsidy. So our gas tax, what it takes us to maintain our streets maintenance, general maintenance, is going beyond what we are receiving in our gas tax. So the general fund is subsidizing that fund. And that continues to move in an upward number. Future items that we will still need to monitor and consider are our inflation, our increase in construction costs, minimum wage increases, which in essence, cause a cause and effect where we will have to potentially evaluate our other salaries. So we will be looking at a salary and compensation study. Our current average home prices are at $499,000. A 30-year fixed mortgage rate is at 6.77. And then our average rental rates right now for a single family dwelling is $2,300. So all of those things are things that we need to keep in mind as we're looking forward. So we'll go to our gas tax fund. So again, I'm gonna note about the change in personnel allocations. So our revenues for 24-25 are projected at almost 7 and expenditures at 1.9. We show a decrease in our revenues of 253,000 and a decrease in expenditures, and largely contributed to a lot of our street staff cover both streets and sewer. So we were putting all the expenditures in gas tax, and sewer was paying a transfer in gas tax. So that's a large amount of that difference there. As I previously noted, the maintenance budget is experiencing a deficit in spending, increase in material costs for certain maintenance items, increase in personnel and benefit costs. This initial shortfall is projected to be at $284,000. That will be a general fund subsidy into the gas tax fund. And our major expenses, which come for street, road, and road projects, come out of our SB1 in the gas tax. It's our Oakdale Road repair and 18-inch storm line, Callender Avenue project overlay, including storm improvements, and then Woodhaven Circle and Woodhaven Place overlay, including storm improvements. And these have all been approved by the council already at a prior meeting.
Have they been allocated already?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Yes. So the sewer fund is our next fund we're gonna go over. And in the sewer fund, we see an increase in our revenues of almost 300,000 and a decrease in our expenditures of 2.5 million. A large amount of the decrease is due to a decrease in capital projects. In that, that fund right now, it does not include, the potential, ongoing expenses or, proposed expenses to continue the recycle water, design. So that will come to the council at another meeting, for approval of that contract. So we received 99% of our revenues from user fees and sewer. 5.6 increase in revenues, for increased service connections and the adopted 5-year rate plan. And then again, a large portion of that decrease in the expenditures is the decrease in capital projects. We do have some major, expenditures. We have some lift station upgrades that we're continuing at 100,000. We have a sewer line replacement. The 2 sewer line replacements were originally budgeted in the current year, but are being rolled over into 24-25. So those projects have been budgeted, but just have not started yet. And then the Public Works new building needs some additional needs, furniture, some IT needs, and some additional paving. The cost of 62,500 is being split between sewer and water. Sewer taking 32,500. So our next fund is our water fund. So our water fund, we're seeing a decrease in our revenues of 4,000 and expenditures an increase of 51,000. 1% increase is primarily due to increase in service connections. But I will note, and I know I've mentioned it to the council before, this fund has been incurring a deficit for the past few years, and we will need to evaluate our rates in the near future. We haven't did water increases since 2019. So it is something that staff has on our radar to potentially go out to look at doing a rate study for the water. So major expenditures, we have a public works building, the furniture, IT needs, and additional paving. 30,000 would be coming out of the water fund. Out of the capital improvement fund of the water, we have allocated emergency repairs for 85,000, the well 11 design 400,000, and then a water line replacement, Sierra Alley 3rd to 8, the 600,000, and that one's a carryover as well. So our last fund that we're going to talk about is our public benefit fund. We are looking at an increase in revenue of 60,000, and an increase in our expenditures of almost 60,000. The additional revenue is from the opening of Off the Charts, which was previously Perfect Union, right here on 3rd. And then we have continued funding for our neighborhood improvement officer, funding for the deputy and CRO positions. And then there have been some increased costs in the cameras due to additional cameras and monitoring costs. So what's next is questions or comments from the council, and then it will be brought back to you for final adoption on June 25th.
Are there any questions before we ask the public to comment? Now, this is just,
Yes, for
What-
questions, but I just had a comment, so.
oh, that too, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Jeez.
Just clarifying. I thank you so much for putting the downtown lighting project on there. I really want to see that go through. So whatever we need to do to get that actually allocated and on there, I'd like to see happen. And I noticed the one item here on the public fund for the Perfect Union. And I'm really anxious to get the sign corrections done for that building on the outside. So those are my only 2 comments.
Okay, so the only, not really questions, so kind of the hope. I know the council, we've been kind of pushing for the Trust 115. I know we had the pending Schneider. That's going to put us roughly at 30% in our revenue or in our general fund reserve. I know on the slide, it showed $1 million that we allocated for the Trust 115. It's my understanding, the general fund does not accrue, does not generate interest. So I think it would be in the best interest of the council to continue the Trust 115, to actually get staff to start that bidding process, to get it going, start generating that interest, because the CalPERS unfunded liability, it's not going to go away. We're going to have to pay it, right? So
Yes.
that would just be my recommendation is regardless of we go the 700K or the $1 million, I think we should move forward with that. And the sooner the better.
And I would just note that I recently went out for an RFP for some investment advisory services and anticipate them to assist us in moving forward with the 115 trust as well.
I had a question about our new electrical grid that's at community center. So where does what fund does that fall under?
So that would fall under, there's actually a fund for the community center where those electricity is paid out of that. Yeah.
So far, everything is good?
Yes.
Okay. And have we thought about putting electric charging station at our parking lot up the street?
So we have not, because there is no infrastructure there, but we did install the infrastructure for 2 charging stations at the community center. So I'm actually working on the application through the Air Pollution Control Board to be able to install those.
Up the street?
Or
Or no?
community center.
No, nothing will go up the street.
No, nothing will go up the street. There's no infrastructure that's currently there.
I just thought it was a good idea as people going up the hill, going towards Yosemite, that there would be a place for you to stop and charge or coming back down,
Well,
I just thought it was a good idea.
even if it's at the community center, if you look at the charging network and it will point you there too. So while it may not be visible, most that have those electric vehicles are used to looking for where those are at. So I'm sure even though they may not be there, they'll still get utilized.
Thank you. I hope
I'll
so.
just make one more comment. And I think that's kind of a lesson learned for the city council. So when we did put that bid out for project, me and Maricela talked about this a couple months ago. Why had we not suggested that? And we missed I forgot what the deadline was. We had just missed it to reopen it and bring it back. So that was kind of a lesson learned for city council.
Nothing? Okay, as we move forward for our budget, we have to take a look at what the state budget is doing. It's a $65 billion shortfall, missing 25 billion somewhere in the ether. And so they're neglecting everything they told us we have to do with the unhoused. So we have to protect what our investments were and how we move forward. The gas tax is dwindling rapidly, more rapidly. So we're going to have to, through either the general fund or others, compensate for that because the state will not. And it's just, everything is going hunkered down for the federal and for the state. And I think we should take some type of during the next fiscal year, determine how we protect the city by putting a bubble around it as much as we can without expending. I know we want to do the 115. Is it prudent to do it all? Or is it prudent to do a large portion of it? So that's a discussion. We could set it aside and then come back and say, okay, this is what we're actually doing. Because I do not want to have all of a sudden MS4, which is a federal, not a state requirement, come back and say, hey, EPA needs more money. And they will do that because we have not done stormwater throughout the city, and which could get us in the long run. But I like the presentation. There are some questions I'll ask separately. I didn't understand where we're decreasing our expenditure for employment, but we're increasing personnel. So that's something I like to talk about privately. I mean, it's that new math that I didn't learn in school.
Common Core.
Okay.
It's their city's version of Common Core.
Okay. I was told it's no longer, that's how far out I am. Okay, with that, is there any other comments from the public? You have to go up to the podium.
My name is Kimberly Evans, and I was wondering, do we have any, my niece has a Tesla. So I didn't know here in Riverbank if we have like a charging station for her car. Because she would have to charge it, and I don't know if we have anything here in Riverbank. I know we do in Modesto, but I was wondering if we had anything in
Charging station for what again?
a Tesla.
Oh, not publicly yet.
Mhm.
We have infrastructure for it when we've make an application to the air board who governs the amount and where it's going. They control, they have so many that they can authorize. And it is a process, it's a long process, but the best thing is to have a personal charging station at home. Okay.
Yeah, because she lives in Las Pianas, so she was gonna come up here, but I told her we have them in Modesto, but I didn't know if we had here in Riverbank. So
No, we do not
Okay. You'll-
yet. Okay, any others? Okay, that was for information.
That was informational, but there was the request by Councilmember Jones Cruz with regards to the downtown lighting project. So if there is any feedback that council would like to give to Tammy as to whether that's incorporated into the final budget or not, that also can be a conversation if you'd like to delay it until that June 25th meeting, if you prefer.
Vice Mayor, what I would like before we do that, I'd like to see a schematic. What are the lumens and what is the area being covered, but that is not currently being covered?
It's all in the report that Maricela had.
Does it have the lumens and where the dead spots are?
So it's not, it's all uplighting at the city's
yes.
trees. Yes, it's uplighting. It's not actual lights, because we have enough street lights. It's all uplighting. So it would be the downtown core that we consider, which on Santa Fe, it goes from 4th Street to 2nd Street. And then on 3rd Street, it goes from Topeka to Sierra. So that's our downtown core.
Has the rest of the council seen what you showed me?
No, they have not seen
Oh,
that. We
maybe
typically
they
do
should.
not share those requests unless we are going to propose the cost.
Let's have I would prefer if we see it and have a discussion. Because I had my own opinion about a lot of money being spent for uplighting for the transit center in Modesto.
Yeah, I think it's important that we do hold a separate discussion, a little bit more in depth about it. We have other businesses that would be left out. And so expanding it to those areas would be more of a cost. So we might have to kind of expand that request for the
I'm not saying
proposal.
it's not practical.
I'm not sure you understand I don't know what you're talking about, what businesses would be left out. It's for the downtown. It covers all the businesses. It's a cross up and
Okay,
down.
that's why we need to sit down and look at it and discuss it.
This is something that we've been talking about for a long time, even before I got onto the council. It's
I
been
understand
something
that.
The downtown
There's a lot of things that
businesses-
we discussed for a long time.
I just wanted to have a comment here. This is something that the downtown businesses have been talking about a long time. So I'm really very excited about seeing it actually come to fruition and I'm really excited about moving forward on it.
Yeah,
So-
same here. So I've been a supporter of this since the very beginning. And that's why I kind of commented that the costs have actually been coming down a little bit. And so it's nice to see that. But definitely let's hold another discussion, share more of the information, possibly reach out. There are areas that would be left out, but I haven't seen the most recent proposal to those.
So we can bring that back so that we can show you visuals at the June 25th meeting. At that point in time, you could still give us direction to incorporate the cost into the budget should you desire to do so. And then if you can share what areas, as we mentioned, we're talking about downtown core. So just want to make sure that we encompass what you need.
Could we also, I mean, if the chamber is hearing this, would you make an effort to come to that meeting? So that, thank you.
We passed that.
What uplighting means.
We'll see that at the next council meeting. Okay, moving on. Item 13.2, resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for architectural services with Architecture Plus, Inc., related to the evaluation and design of a new city hall in downtown Riverbank, and authorize the budget amendment of $20,000 for the Police General Government System Development Fee Fund.
The mayor and council, since June of 2018, the city council and city staff have been discussing a need for a new city hall in order to be able to house all of the new staff that we've brought on, ensuring that we have the adequate space to continue to grow in the future as the city continues to grow, and also allowing for staff to have more amenities that we currently do not have available, like additional meeting spaces, et cetera. So we started off with a spatial analysis, which incorporated all of the long-term projections that we had for staffing for each one of our departments. At the end of the day, that spatial analysis gave us a recommendation of needed approximately 42,000 square feet of space in order to be able to house all of the future staffing needs that we would have. At that point in time, we looked forward about 20 years, which would take us to 2038. And mind you, we're getting close to that. So we continued to look at how we would be able to house all of the new staff that we had already, the new staff that we were continuing to need, but just did not have any room for. We do have one employee who works from home pretty much full time, comes in whenever there's meetings, but she does work from home full time just because there's no space at City Hall South for her to be able to be there full time. And so we looked at the easiest way to be able to house everybody and get everybody under one roof. And that was the leasing of the space on Oakdale Road. Unfortunately, in February, I was not authorized to proceed with the lease of that space. And so there had been comments about wanting to make sure that we continued to have a downtown presence. And so we spoke with our city engineer and an architect that works for his firm. And so we requested a proposal for him to be able to evaluate the two existing City Hall sites, which is City Hall North and City Hall South across the street. And then looking at a few vacant sites that we have throughout downtown so that we maintain that downtown presence. There is a vacant land just a block away from here. It is currently private property. So if that were to be an area that we wanted to consider placing a new city hall, we would have to talk about acquisition fees related to that. And then there's another vacant site that we have that's smaller, but it is located in downtown that the city currently owns. It was gifted to us by PG&E, has some heavy restrictions as to what we can use it for, but we could potentially appeal to them to see if they would allow us to use it for office space. And that's located at Sierra and 2nd Street. So what the proposal is for tonight is a budget amendment of $20,000 to be able to contract with Architecture Plus. They'll do that site evaluation for us, and then they'll come up with conceptual renderings. Obviously, based on our needs and the space available at each of the sites, there are going to be very different proposals with regards to it being either single story, 2-story, 3-story, up to 4 stories in order to make sure that we have the adequate space for our staff and for city council as well. And that is all I have for my proposal tonight. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? Any comments from the public?
And Mayor and council members or council,
Olivia Rambula, Thomas Real Estate here in Riverbank and part of your Riverbank Chamber of Commerce. I do have some requests or a request. I visit a lot of towns throughout the country, and I do see a lot of Chamber of Commerce buildings that are adjacent to where the city council was at. I appreciate the fact that ours is free and it's in the industrial complex currently, but we don't have a downtown presence as well. And if you do, perhaps can include us somewhere, whether it's in the new building or in one of these older buildings here, if you guys, go ahead and exit it, it would be nice to have Chamber of Commerce to have a spot here. It doesn't have to be huge, but something that's here in the downtown area. That would be appreciated. I just want people to see that we are present and we're relevant to the community. Thank you.
Mayor, we have one on Zoom.
Go ahead.
The number ending in 3108. Can you unmute? And they hung up.
Back for council for consideration.
I'll make a motion to approve item 11.2.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve in a second on 10-2. Roll call.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Staff comments, please.
Yeah, I've got a few of those. So there's a couple of events coming up that we want to make sure the city council and our residents are aware. The Mexico Mágico event is happening this Saturday, June 15th at the Riverbank Community Center from 10 to 6. It'll have food, vendors, and live entertainment. And the event is going to highlight the states of Michoacán, Jalisco, Hidalgo, and Guerrero. The city is sponsoring that event. Juneteenth event will be happening on Wednesday, June 19th. It's also at the Riverbank Community Center. That will be from 11 to 6 and will also have food, games, entertainment, and vendors. And the city is also a sponsor on that event. All city offices will be closed on Juneteenth for the holiday. Our first movie in the park will be Saturday, June 22nd at Silva Park. They'll be featuring the movie Soul, and it will begin at dusk, so around 8:30-ish, 9-ish time. So bring your chairs, bring a blanket in case it's a little bit cold, and bring your snacks. On that note, the city has partnered with Red Robin to host a fundraiser to raise money for the Youth Scholarship Program. 20% of all the purchases at Red Robin on June 22nd, which is the same day as the movie in the park, will go to providing financial assistance to these local families to offset the cost to participate in camps, programs, and events offered by our Parks and Rec Department. If you do attend, make sure to reference the fundraiser when placing your order. If you order online, there's also a way for you to reference the fundraiser as well. And make it a fun evening by going to have dinner at Red Robin and then going to watch a movie at Silva Park. And last one on July 9th. So we're starting with some early promotion. The Riverbank Tuesday Market will be back with the Parks and Recreation partnering with the downtown businesses to host. There'll be local vendors, entertainment, a kids corner, and much more. So the events will be on Tuesday evenings in the month of July. And that is all from staff.
Thank you. Councilmember Hernandez.
Mention the Costco ribbon cutting. Oh, so I'll see you all Thursday morning at 7:30 at the Costco ribbon cutting. It's going to be a short and sweet program. I know our Riverbank Chamber is going to be there and the city's going to be there. I've been having conversations with a lot of our small businesses, and they're being very supportive. I think they feel that it's going to be a good partnership with all the businesses here, as it's been throughout the city. So we'll see you there.
Thank you. Councilmember Uribe.
Thank you, Mayor. So a group of us local electeds have been meeting, been having continued discussions with our state representatives, our state senators and assembly members. Topic of discussion has been housing, arena numbers and all that. That's kind of going forward. We had a discussion the last 2 weeks, one with Senator Dave Cortez, who's been an advocate for like affordable housing, and Assembly Member Alex Lee, who has some social housing bills, kind of things that they're doing in Singapore and Vienna. It's a AB 2881. So I'm optimistic about some of the bills, even though they can be quite a bit, several hundred bills coming all at once. And just to put it in perspective, what his bill is kind of looking to do is the California Housing Authority to produce publicly backed housing, affordable housing that's self-sustainable. So we're having a lot of cities that are not meeting that affordable aspect of the RENA numbers. So it's been pretty interesting conversations. We're all pretty excited about the Costco. Heard today that they're having a pre-event for the employees tomorrow. I got excited, but it's only for the employees, so I won't be able to go. Looking forward to the Revenue and Taxation Subcommittee this Thursday for the League of California Cities. And then the next sister city meeting, we're shooting for having it at the Modesto Nuts. So the Latino Chamber is going to be doing a Loteria style fundraiser. So I'll be there, hoping the committee kind of joins me, kind of learn how they do that. So we kind of replicate it. And then we'll do our own version here during Cheese and Wine, try to raise some funds for the youth that we're trying to send for the Youth Summit in DC for next year. So that's the goal. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Barbara Martinez.
So our, the Chamber's Business Expo, as you heard about it earlier, is open for our residents and other business owners to come and see what our local businesses have to offer. So I hope everyone will come out to that. We have, as you heard, about 30 businesses that have signed up, and we're still getting calls, people wanting to sign up. So we hope that everyone will come and visit and see what's going on and see how the Chamber is working hard to try to help businesses grow their business and become successful. So we hope everyone will shop and spend their money locally. The bike rodeo planning is going great with our partners of the Riverbank Police Services and Parks and Rec, and also our admin staff at the city of Riverbank. And we will have a scavenger hunt, and it's going to be geared toward bike safety, and it's going to be lots of fun. So that will be on July the 10th, starting at 5 until 8. Letters will be going out asking for a donation for bikes for our kiddos. We expect probably to have about 200 children. So we're asking for help. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I have a couple things on my list today. I got a chance to go out and visit with the Riverbank Industrial Complex folks again, just kind of giving me an update. It was fun to see changes that have occurred since last time I was out there. A lot of businesses going on, things cleaned up, look good, and they're making some progress. And share with me some of their needs and things that they also need out there. One thing that I'd like to go ahead and make sure I share is they had a really cool Building 18, which I know the Chamber meets at. It's a meeting room for small groups. They rent it out. The fee's very reasonable. So it's a place for if you need another meeting hall. It was pretty awesome. I just wanted to share that one. Costco opening, we've already talked about. It's pretty warm out there. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's hot outside. So I know we're all headed out to the rivers and lakes and waterways, and I just wanted to kind of put a plug out there for water safety. If you haven't signed up, we've got swim lessons with the rec department, and also with the holidays that are coming up and people going to the rivers. I just wanted to remind you that if you need to be safe on the rivers and waterways, and if you need life jackets, the fire department loans them for free. You can get them at the fire department. So please remember to be safe around the water. Also, don't forget your pets and stuff there outside. Make sure they have plenty of water and shade. If you have pets outside, I'd hope you bring them inside. It's pretty warm out there. The last thing is, I don't know about you all, but I've been dealing with mosquitoes pretty bad in my neighborhood. I mean, terrible. And so my neighbors and myself have gotten in contact with the Mosquito Abatement District. You can email them and they will come out and spray your yard. They'll do the front yard and backyard. So there's like 4 or 5 of us on both sides of the street that all did it in one day. So we're hoping they can come out and just do the whole neighborhood instead of just one at a time. But if you need that link, it's the Mosquito Abatement District with the county. The website is eastsidemosquito.com. You just fill it out online and they will contact you and come and spray your yard, front and backyard, if you want them in your backyard. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Marisol, I want to thank your staff for the Memorial Day event. It was truly touching. Just for you, the World War II vets, there are now just under 100,000 left of the 16.4 million. And if you could just imagine the first boated wave going against Omaha. You know, you have 2 million people against the first boated wave, and they did it. And they wiped out the tyranny at that time. We have to be vigilant today. Project Resolve continues. We'll be meeting now at Manny Graywall's hotel. Public is invited. Our next one will be talking about the school resource officers, and it'll be August first Thursday, 8th, at his hotel, and they'll be discussing their lessons learned for the last school year as they approach the new school year. You may have noticed that the air quality is poor due to the fires. The Air Board has put out their clean room. And if you qualify for the clean room, you can get a filter that can clean a room for your family to be inside. If not, you can purchase the same things at varying locations. And one of them is Costco. So when they open, take a look about taking care of your clean room. With that, for Red Robin, and you mentioned the fundraisers. Red Robin is sponsoring a lot of the fundraisers coming on up. Can we get through staff somehow, the schedule of what's going to be at Red Robin? I know the sheriff is going to have one for Shop with a Cop, and a lot of the other, not only Red Robins, but where else, so we can not only participate in the fundraiser, but, you know, capitalize on a good meal.
Before you close, I want to mention that before city council meeting, I heard on Channel 3, Riverbank, a pool was open, and the kids, they had a video showing our swimming pool, and that the kids were having fun. And I just thought that was so neat. So yay for Parks and Rec.
Okay. With that, we're no closed session. The next meeting will be Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. Adjourned.